the idea for the JETforce user community is really a way to get everybody to share their experiences, see what's going on there. And a lot of it goes back to give you an idea, my background was a lot. I spent 20 years with MGI, and I was in India. I'd go to China. I'd go to Japan. I'd go to South America, and I would see all the different ways people were actually being successful with their own machines, whether it was applications or it was on a technical standpoint or how they're estimating for it. And I said, man, it's just really too bad that there's not a way that we can kind of group everything together and get people talking so that nobody has to kind of reinvent the wheel every single time in their own little corner of the world. So that's kind of the background behind why we created the JETforce. And one of the cool things that we decided to do is this came about during COVID, was to kind of create this online presence, this meetup, this 30 minutes once a month, where 1 week all the owners are going to get together and talk and just open discussion. We'll set a theme and we'll maybe bring in some special guests. Perhaps another week it's going to be the operators, so the operators can kind of talk, hey, listen, I figured out how to do this with this laminate, or hey, have you guys tried this type of foil or this kind of paper? Try to share those technical backgrounds. And then we have the same thing for people who are out there selling on your behalf. So your sales team can come in and say, listen, this is kind of how we're finding success. Same thing for your estimators. So that's where we're headed with this community. It's really just run by you guys. This is your community. It's free. Nobody's charging you anything. We're not going to be ramming product down anybody's throat. It's just about trying to grow the market, which has so much potential. So that being said, I do want to kind of go around and introduce everybody. So I'm going to take everybody off of mute, or I'll just you guys can unmute yourselves and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are in the world, and just a little something about yourself. So maybe Al, we can start with you.
Did you say Adam?
Oh, no. Adam, you can get started. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that's great. My name's Adam Stewart. I own and operate JETvarnish here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been doing it for about 10 years, not with the JETvarnish, but with other techniques and stuff. So I'm housed in a much bigger print shop than my own. I only own a JETvarnish, period. But I'm teamed up with a bigger print shop that has KM1s, Indigos, and wide format and stuff like that. So we work really well together.
That's great. That's a great business model. Very cool. Thank you, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Al, how about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Yeah, we're in Savannah, Georgia. We are a commercial printer, but we also are very big into wide format. I bought the JETvarnish along with a KM1E, kind of as a package. I liked what I felt like it could do. I didn't really have a big market right away, but we've really gotten into a number of different things with it, and I'm actually getting more and more impressed with what I see coming off of that thing every day.
Yeah, that's great. And you're going to see that learning curve once your operators know how to really get the most out of the machine, and the more salespeople know how to sell it, you're going to see that learning curve start to really grow. Thank you, Al, for introducing yourself. Alexandre, I don't know how good your English is. Are you? Can you speak English or Français? Oh, you're on mute, Alexandre. I'm sorry. Alexandre, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm Alexandre. I can speak in English, but it's not very good. But yeah. I work for ISRA, a company who print card and packaging, gift card, access card, things like this. And we bought an AlphaJet last year. So we don't have a JETvarnish, just a big AlphaJet. So I come here to see what we can do with this machine.
Wow! So
you're the world's first master JETvarnish.
You're the world's first AlphaJet. Very, very, very cool to meet you, Alexandre. I can't wait to hear more about the kind of stuff that you're doing with that. That's fantastic. So those of you who don't know, MGI also has another machine called the AlphaJet which is a B1 press that does printing and embellishment all in line digitally. So, Alexandre, thank you very much for joining us. Vince, my friend, Mr. Manini, how are you doing?
Good, buddy. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
So I'm Vince Manini. I'm one of the owners at Team Concept Printing. We've had, when was that, Kevin, when we bought that? Remember that show we were at when we bought the MGI?
Yeah, was it 2016?
We're out of Chicago, so they used to have the print show at the McCormick place. I don't know if you guys ever were there, but it was pretty exciting. We bought the one, or I don't know if it was the one on the floor, but I remember whatever happened to that video. That was pretty funny.
That was a good video.
Yeah,
that was a good video.
Konica had me ring a bell or something. Remember
Yeah. So many people on this call has probably rung a bell eventually. But so Vince, what's cool about you is that you are a trade, mostly to the trade, right? So a lot of people send you work who are other printers. Is that correct?
Right. So Team Concept Printing and thermography were probably one of the last people that ever. I don't know if you guys know what thermography raised printing is, but we still do some of that. Not many people do it anymore, but I kind of we used to do a ton of it. We've been around since 1998, and prior to that, me and my partner ran a Business Cards Tomorrow franchise, and then we went off on our own, and there's not any of those anymore. We're out, I think I said we're outside of Chicago. That we kind of took it, the added value is what we're pretty known for. We do stuff that other people couldn't do.
Right.
That being projects or, the raised print, foil stamping. We've been doing that. I've been doing that my whole career. Back when in the BCT days, when I was like, seems like forever ago, but it was like 22, 23.
Yeah.
The franchise actually had me work with Kluge, and that's how we got involved in foil. And all the franchise would send us work to our franchise. So I was highly involved in that.
So you're like the embellishment guy. You've always been around embellishments. That's kind of your background, and that's something that you guys have been doing for a while, right?
Right. And it kind of was a given when we obviously did it was either MGI or Skodex, and we did a pretty in-depth look into both of them. We decided to go with MGI mainly because they had Konica's support. The products, there's nothing like it. It's beautiful. It's not the cheapest, that was when we first got into it, that's what a lot of our customers, we don't have to buy dyes anymore. And, it's not exactly the truth. It's not cheaper. And right. I think that's one thing I know that we discussed a lot before we bought it, Kevin, is we don't want, you don't want to sell it as being cheaper.
No, it's the value added. Yeah.
It's beautiful. The stuff we could do with it, and a lot of testing. We have 3 operators right now that are pretty. It just takes experience. They're pretty, and they love it.
Sure.
And they've learned a lot. And, it just takes a while for them to learn.
Yeah. So I think Vince, maybe you bring up a good point, and I'm just going to go really quickly around the room because we only have 30 minutes today.
Right.
I did want to introduce Warren Werbit. Warren, how are you doing, buddy? If you guys, there he goes.
Yeah. Hey, what's happening, everybody?
If you guys know Warren is go ahead and introduce yourself really quickly.
Warren Werbit, also known as the Print Whisperer, been around for a long time, since I had an afro.
Where did it go?
Yeah, and I'm basically I partnered with Kevin so that we can go out and help teach everybody how to do things properly and sell
Right.
at high prices for the proper margin and value for the investment.
Right.
And that's
So
it
Warren,
in a nutshell.
so those of you who don't know, Warren was a very well-known printer for a long time, based out of Canada, and so has a lot of experience. And he
Sorry,
really helps us.
I'm still known. You make it like I'm dead. Well known. I'm still known.
He's a still-known printer, ex-printer that really knows this stuff. So we're really glad to have him because he has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. Carlo, really quickly introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everybody. Nice meeting you all. I'm based in Mexico. I am part of the tactical team for attending Latin America, and also partnering with Kevin in other businesses around embellishment matters, which is pretty interesting. And I'm happy to be here, and hope I can be here every month and join you and add some conversation to the
Very
room.
cool. Thank you very much. And Paul André, real quick intro.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm living and working on the other part of the world, in France, in MGI headquarters. So I have in charge the sales of MGI JETvarnish series and as well Alpha Jet technology for MGI on the Europe, Middle East, and Africa zone area. And I focus on packaging, commercial printing application, roll-to-roll for self-adhesive labels, flexible packaging, and so on.
Thank you,
So
Paul.
I'm
Thank you
very happy
for
to be
joining
here.
us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kev.
Very good. And Paul is really helping us get the word out to the European users to start joining also. So thank you for the work on doing that. All right, guys. So I think one great place to start is maybe let's ask some of the owners just a round question. Regarding when you're working with brands and agencies, we talked about the need to educate, I think, the market and where that education comes. You know, the more educated the brands and agencies are, the more volume will come through. If you guys had to rate from 1 to 10, how educated are your customers when you go in and you explain to them, you know, you show them these cool samples and you explain to them the cool stuff that you can do. Where would you put that from 1 to 10? 10 being like they know it by heart, and 1 being like they have no idea this is from Mars. So Al, maybe we can start with you.
Well, I think that I'd say I probably give them a 5. I've got 2 or 3 clients that really understand this well, and we've produced some just in the last week or so, I've seen some pieces that were just really fabulous. Mm-hmm. So much so that I really need to concentrate on getting more samples out. I will tell you one thing, that we bought the MGI the same time we bought the KM1, and you know, obviously the nut you have to cover on the KM1 is a lot bigger than the MGI. So we really focused very hard in the last year on the inkjet side of it, but we've got that really rolling. So really right now we are really focused on MGI. So we're really trying to figure out the best way to make a splash with this thing. And so we really think it's a great tool.
Awesome. That's great. And if you do it right, Al, the MGI can help push KM1 output too. And that's really, I think, one of the best things, that the way that you look at it, people will send you work just because you have that special finishing capabilities. But most importantly is you'll get to print that work as well. And that's, you know, that's kind of a good way to look at it. Adam, tell us a little bit more. From 1 to 10, when you sit down with a customer, how educated are the brands on digital embellishment today?
Not real well at all. I mean, they see it, you know, it's been around town. Everybody kind of knows what it is, but once you try to get them to do something on theirs, they kind of freeze up and like, oh, well, we don't know what to do, and they need quite a bit of help.
Yeah. So
it's been hard just kind of showing everybody and especially teaching these designers, and a lot of the times we just fix stuff and move on. But yeah, I would say about a 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that too, Adam. And I think design is probably one of the biggest bottlenecks that we're probably all running into, because many times, you know, you try to teach them and then they send you something, you probably still have to spend another hour or 2 redoing their files. so that it runs correctly. And many times, and I'm sure you guys all feel the same, you get a file and you go, oh, this could look so much better if only they knew they could do this, or if only they went after this part of the file. So I get your pain, man. I totally get it. Vince, how about you? How do you feel when you sit down with a brand or an agency and you kind of show them these samples? And again, it might be a little different for you because you work mostly with other printers, but I do know that sometimes you also work with brands. Where would you estimate the education level of the brand buyers is when it comes to this stuff?
I'm with Adam. I mean, it's like a 2. I mean, you know, we do a lot of, and it's extra work, but we try to train our customers, and most of our customers are all repeat customers. I'm sure you guys have similar, but you know, you have to spend time training them. They don't understand. The designers don't understand. You know, you'll get some, just like what you said, that looks, it's like, man, it could look so much better. I'll never forget, you know, and we still have, you know, if you have a beer mug with a bunch of
the condensation and
the beer mug, everybody wants to just do the beer because I think they're thinking of spot UV, which, you know, we do that also on our Kimori's, but if you take that and they'll design it like that, it's like, whoa, customer, hey, let me show you a sample, and we'll take it and create and just do the condensation, and they're like, oh my God, you know, this is great. We have a lot of problems because we're dealing not with the direct end user most of the time. So they'll say, yeah, just do it that way, but they won't go back to their designer and show them or explain to them, because we'll see other files coming in for other projects for them, and their designer does it the same way, and we're like, hey, you know, it's a constant battle to try to get it, to have people understand.
Yeah, I agree. The design is a big part of it too, and obviously the justification for the higher price. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, okay, you might spend an extra 20-25 cents for this piece, but if you're going to sell 30% more, 10% more, or something like that, then that's totally justified. And I think that there's a lack of data out there basically saying this is how you justify spending more on the embellishment side. People in the wine and spirits industry really understand this. This is why you go, and cosmetics, like if you walk into those markets, you'll see just by the labels and the packaging how much they're using metallics and tactile finishes to get people to pick up their product. Because, you know, once you touch the product, you got like a 60% chance of making that impulse buy. So it's really important. I think, yep.
So I was going to say, if everyone has a machine, whether you're selling end users or middle users, is everybody making samples and doing things constantly to give out, to show? Because that, even when I didn't have that machine, we were doing that all the time, because what I realized is our salespeople, and don't get me wrong, we love them, but when I go with them, they're not selling half of what we used to sell. Right. So my best way was to ensure that the customer knew what we were doing was by making samples, mailing them direct, or having the reps take them one-on-one and then talking to them after.
Right. You made a lookbook, right? You probably still have it around you somewhere in the office. It's a great lookbook, by the way, Warren.
Okay, I'll get it.
we do that for sure.
Yeah, it's an important part of it.
We don't have a book though. I mean, we do, but we have a couple pages dedicated to MGI. But.
Yeah. A lookbook's a cool way, and if you do a new one every year, it gives your salespeople something new to talk about when they walk and say, hey, you know, we got the 2024 version or edition of the lookbook.
So I don't think any of you are going to do this every year because it's a fortune, and here every page has different varnish, different technique. Every paper is different on every page, utilizing all the different colors, the enhanced orange, green, yellow, whatever. You know, full page. Check out that. Like, and this was done on the full size of the sheet, because most designers aren't able to do calculations. They need to visualize the paper and the sheet size they're working on, right?
Right.
So that was one. And then there's another company, I won't say what they're using, but what they've done is Bennett is another book.
Yeah,
but
he's
every
really good.
page,
Yeah.
it's the marketing that he does that helps put him on the map.
Yeah.
So just quickly, because we only have a few minutes, in all the people I talk to about all this, most of them are not doing samples. If
Yeah.
you don't do samples, how's anyone going to know?
That's a good point. Alexandre, tell us a little bit more about your experience with the AlphaJet. I mean, you're doing a lot of embellishment. Are you doing mostly printing? Are you doing a lot of embellishment? Walk us kind of through how your clients are kind of reacting to this type of technology.
Can I have the question in French to be sure to understand?
De 1 à 10, comment, d'un point de vue d'éducation, de 1 à 10, ils sont comment vos clients quand vous présentez des échantillons faits sur l'AlphaJet? Est-ce ils comprennent ce que vous faites? Est-ce que
Yes.
oui, il faut vraiment les éduquer comment faire le design et tout ça?
Yes, the AlphaJet is different than a JETvarnish because we can print and make the embellishment in the same passage. To develop the technology of the AlphaJet, we need to invite our customer, the designer, to show what we can do with the machine. If we just show samples not on the machine, they don't understand what we can do. So for gift card, for example, for a Christmas card, we invite the designer. We show what we can do with a sample of MGI or things like this, and we make prototypes, samples, and a lot of samples. Then they send a picture, and we make the embellishment too. You know, we propose a different design with a selective varnish or foil to say to our customer that we can do this at the same price of a classic print. You know.
Yeah.
And with this, we can do a lot of new things and we can make print what. Je vais la faire en français. On peut faire des choses où on est les seuls à proposer dans le marché de la carte.
So he could do things. So Alexandre's saying you do plastic cards or paper cards, and he's the only one to be able to offer these different things in his market. So it's unique, right?
And with AlphaJet, we print in numeric and we embellish in numeric, so we can personalize all the cards or all the packaging without tools or setup or things like this. So we can make a personalization with a less price. You know.
That's great. So I think what Alexandre you just said was a great point. Is a great way to educate your clients is to do events. So I don't know if you guys ever do events where you include your clients to come in and maybe do a lunch and learn with their designers, or maybe you do an open house where they can come in and you just show them all the cool stuff that you're doing. But that's a great idea, Alexandre. I've been invited to a couple of those, and I know those have been very successful. Okay, so very cool. So now I think let's move on to the next subject. We've got a couple minutes left, which was basically the subject of the embellishment, which is what's hot. And when I say what's hot is what are the applications or the finishes that we're seeing a lot of right now. And I can go first if you guys want. I can kind of share based on a lot of the interviews that I'm doing and a lot of the people that I'm talking to and some of the agencies that are out there. We're seeing a big opportunity in the school market, so the university market. So if that's something that you're not currently going after, we see, and Alexandre, it's different in the United States than it is in France. So just be aware of that. But we're seeing a big push in athletic recruitment. So how to recruit athletes to your place. I actually have a great piece from Notre Dame. You open it up and inside there's the person's jersey with his name embossed in gold and trying to get him to come play to Notre Dame. So that's kind of cool. And then it's gone from athletic recruitment to now student recruitment. So they're using a lot of personalized foils to now fundraising and alumni events. So I don't know if that's something that's on your guys' radar, but that's really something that's a vertical that is taking off right now for digital embellishments, specifically because the ability to personalize foil. Are you guys seeing any of that at all, or no? Adam, let's start maybe with you.
Quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
We haven't started doing the variable data yet, but I don't think that's causing any. That's not causing anybody to not want it, because it's a lot. There is a lot out there.
Yeah, that's great. How about you, Al? Are you seeing any demand from Georgia Tech or UGA or any of the other universities?
Well, actually, the largest art college in the world is located here in Savannah. It's Savannah College of Art and Design.
Very cool.
And we do a lot of cool stuff for those guys. But once again, we've been doing this for a year, but we've been focusing so much on other things. I will tell you one thing that we've done successfully with the Jet Varnish is we go to clients and we say, send us one of your brochures and the print files. We'll print it for you on our KM1E. You can see how it looks, but we always use the Jet Varnish embellishment somewhere on the cover, and we send it back to them. And honestly, that's really helped us land some pretty big business that way. But we really want to. I mean, this forum is great for me because we just hadn't focused on the Jet Varnish like we should.
Sure.
And but right now we're all about it.
Al, by the way, that's a great business move, and that's something that back when I was with MGI, I always recommended new clients, and I think Vince, I told you guys to do this too, and I don't know if you do it still, but on those big clients that you do have that send you a job, for example, just the KM1E, it's always kind of good to take a couple of those extra sheets and run them on the Jet Varnish and then send it back being like, by the way, next time your job could look like this. And using the AIS scanner, literally in 2 minutes, you just scan that sheet in and you can create a mask literally on the machine. And what that does is usually a lot of the people will get mad at you. They're like, why didn't you run the whole job like this? Because it's their file and they're touching it and they're feeling it and they're interacting with their own file. And for them, it's very good. You've got them hooked. And I'm sure you guys are probably tracking reorder rates. Like if they order something with digital embellishments, the next time they come around, what is the percentage of reordering with digital embellishments again? And typically those are rather high in terms of people becoming basically hooked on that finish. Vince, how about you, man? Are you seeing much of the university work, or do you see any particular vertical that is starting to really emerge, or something that's trending right now?
So yeah, we see some university stuff. We did have a client. Oh geez, it was before COVID though, so I think they might have lost the account. I remember we're not dealing directly with the universities, but they were doing a lot with universities at that time, because we were doing all the Jet Varnish. We were actually doing the printing for the ones. They had an upsell for that, and we started a program with them, and it was going pretty good. But then obviously, what the hell with that? So, and it hasn't came back. I'm pretty sure they lost the account.
Anything else that's popping up that you're seeing?
Yeah, we see stuff.
Packaging.
A lot of beverages. I mean, we do in the packaging world. We do quite a bit of that for packages.
Yeah.
Especially here's one. Marijuana is cannabis is legal in Illinois, so that is the packaging for that. We do it. Pretty much everything we do for packaging for that is really they want something unique and something that stands out.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's an easy sell for them.
Yeah.
So I would say beverage, the cannabis market, at least for here. I'm sure every once in a while we'll see stuff from colleges too, because they're
Yeah.
trying to trigger these kids to come to their college. So
Of course, there's a lot of money. It's a huge business now,
Yeah.
the university. But cannabis is by far probably the number one application that we're seeing out there. And I know a lot of users, like JETvarnish users, who go to all the cannabis conferences, and they get a booth, a little 10x10 with a table, and just show off embellished samples, and they get a ton of business that way. So that's maybe something. It's not a lot of money to get a 10x10. Probably cost you $1,500 plus hotel and all that. But if you get one client there, it'll make the ROI happen. So it's a great way to go out to these trade shows, and people are looking for partners to team up with. Alexandre, how about you? What are you seeing? Really cool though, Alexandre. Can I say one thing about the card market? Because I know you guys are like the king of the cards. In the U.S., guys, there's a lawsuits going around as ADA, so American with Disabilities Act. Basically, if you do gift cards and you can't offer raised effects for blind people to know, okay, this is $10 card, this is a $20 card, you can get sued. So if you have a JETvarnish, you can actually offer to do that as a work from a legal standpoint. And it has been approved for legally or for visually impaired people. So that's just a little heads up there. So Alexandre, tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing since you've had the AlphaJet.
Now in France, the market of a gift card is in paper and not in PVC now. So the embellishment is not. I can show you some sample, and if you want.
Yeah.
For example, in a card, we make a foil to in the supermarket to see the card. We can put a selective varnish and foil.
Yeah. That looks awesome.
Yes, there is a true technology and the print. And a big thing with AlphaJet, it's to, we are there is different, everything is personalized. And in French, it's a big market to personalize packaging, for example,
Wow.
And without cost of setup and tools.
Yeah.
So we can make a lot of things.
Wow.
With with a big speed and
that's beautiful. Well, Alexandre, I gotta say, unfortunately, a lot of the users that I've seen in North America haven't really. And Al, I don't know if you're doing this, and Vince, I don't know if you guys are doing this, and Adam, I know you're not doing too much of it, but not really doing much variable data. The ones who are making a lot of money in the invitation industry. So wedding invitations is huge for variable data foil. Highly recommend you guys look at that kind of stuff if you guys want to get into some markets that are very lucrative. It's babies, weddings, and funerals. Those three things you can charge a tremendous upcharge for those three markets. So definitely good. Okay, guys. Well, listen, I think we're at the time. I really appreciate this conversation. There's so much more we can talk about. I hope you got something out of it. We're still testing this out, trying to find our voice and how we're all going to be able to communicate. But if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Or on the website, you guys are all connected. You can talk to each other too. So don't hesitate to reach out to each other if you have questions or want to exchange on different things. That being said, does anybody have any questions or any parting words that we want to say before we leave? No? All right, guys. Well, you are awesome. I really appreciated this time with you. Thank you so much for coming. I know you're busy, and I will see you hopefully next month. I'll send you guys all an invite if you want to come. We would love to have you as our guest.
With pleasure, Kev.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.